Welcome back to the Robezoid channel. I'm your host Mark, and welcome to Taking a Test Drive Thursdays, where we sniff out a fragrance that's been in my collection for a bit, and I took it out for a little test drive and let you know how it went. This one, of course, from the brand of Guerlain and a criminally underrated line of Aqua Liguria. I definitely recommend to sniff out this brand, especially for the spring and summertime. Now, I know these aren't so popular within the community, and you will most likely find these in the feminine aisle or not at all. There is some shops that carry Guerlain, do not carry this. It's not a real big seller. It's more of a seasonal line for the brand. Guerlain really doesn't push this line as much as they actually should. Now, this line is known for being super simplistic summer scents that are fairly top heavy with the brightness and then kind of fades quite quickly on your skin. The one great thing about them is that they're super ultra realistic and authentic. So if it talks about a note, in this case bergamot, you're going to get probably one of the best, if not for that price range, or of basically the whole scope of things. Like this brand, if you've never went to a shop and smelt the Aqua Liguria line, start with Pamplemousse. It is the grapefruit one in the line. Very simplistic. Again, very, very authentic though. One of the best in the line, Herba Fresca, is second in command in that line, but there's a lot of good ones. Now, with a lot of lines, there's flops and good ones and great ones, and they do discontinue a lot of these. They don't sell, they don't bring them back. Pamplemousse and Herba Fresca have been there for a long, long time. They sell and they do well. In this case, this one, Bergamot. Now, Bergamot is heavily utilized in perfumery. We all know about it. It's almost a great starter note. And it really got popular when Bleu de Chanel and all that came out, especially in the men's aisle. Bergamot was, you know, the citrus to utilize. You know, no more lemon, no more lime, no more orange or anything like that. It really is, and again, still to this day, bergamot is very much something that is utilized. It's very, I like to kind of compare it to lavender, a very pleasant scent that can be utilized in perfumery, and it will give some bulk to the fragrance. Now, this one right here, you know, bergamot, in a lot of fragrances, this note does not shine. In here, it does. Some of my favorite bergamot based, and I mean like just bergamot based. There's a lot of fragrances that have bergamot in the note breakdown, but it's not based on it. Le Labo's bergamot and the Different Company. The Different Company's bergamot is criminally underrated. Probably one of the best just simplistic bergamots in the game. Just to put a little bit of spotlight on bergamot. And you can see Voyage here, right here, and it's related to this fragrance, and I'm going to get to that later on, but it's there just for a reference point here. Now, before we get into, of course, the meat and potatoes of the fragrance review, I'd like to thank our sponsor of the day, FragranceX.com. You can get a bottle of this on their site. Please check out Fragrance X. Utilize my code ROBES08, which is my YouTube handle, in their coupon section, and you get 15% off on your purchase. Now let's go under the hood. Let's take a look at some stats on this one. Release date was back in 2017. Nose is the two noses, the two in-house perfumiers for Guerlain, Thierry Wasser, Delphine Jelk. She's his protege. She's probably going to take over the Guerlain namesake shortly, I'm assuming, Mr. Wasser. Kind of grooming her as Monsieur Elena did in Hermès. For his successor. Now, the major notes to my nose with this one, of course, bergamot has to be a major player. It is cardamom and ginger are the secondaries. A lot of the secondaries, I'll be honest, are very minimal. You really, with the Aqua Ligurias, you really want to emphasize the major player, which is the bergamot. So anything behind it is basically behind it. It really is secondary, and they're very faint. And they do make this fragrance, they do make a difference in the fragrance, I'll be honest, but very minimal. And you're going to notice that in the Aqua Ligurias. So it is my scent of the day today, but I'm going to remind myself of the introduction here and spray. And great atomizers, right? These Aqua Ligurias, like, you're getting a lot for your money in regards to that. Maybe not performance-wise, but right away from first sniff, invigorating. That is just the first word that comes into play. This is it just, from first sniff, you know this is going to be one of those special Aqua Ligurias. There's a lot of flops in the line, and that's why they discontinue so much. But then there's some that just hit. And Bergamote Calabria hits. And this is one of their big winners. It's right up there with some of the best from the line. The bergamot is front and center, and they are going to stretch this note as much as they can in this scent. And not only that, it doesn't, you know, this note is absolutely fantastic. It's 3D in nature. It morphs into something else into the mid. I'm going to get into that. But really here, the bergamot's fresh, it's sharp, it's bright. It really makes you think of just lemons and limes and bergamot, of course, but that family. And it just really shows you that brightness and that refreshing. It invigorates you right off the skin. I'm really fizzy, light, fruity quality, and it brings all that to the table. Very light, very watery, very transparent, beautiful, beautiful opening. And then it also brings to the table the Earl Grey quality that you don't get much in a lot of bergamot based scents, and they treat us to that in this release, more into the mid. I'm going to get back to that later, but at this point it's the thinness, it's the citrusy side of things. And this is also paired with a petit grain. And the petit grain gives off some woody and green aspects and a little bit of that neroli, you know, that neroli orangey tang to the opening. It really is absolutely, they pair very, very well together. And petit grain is an excellent complementary note to the bergamot in this opening. Absolutely stunning as far as an opening goes. If you're looking for citruses, one of the best for under $100 as far as that, like bergamot wise, beautiful. Now moving into the mid of the scent, and this is where it kind of morphs a little bit. The transition, flawless, you know, kudos to both noses. The transition is beautiful. Now going into the mid, the scent evolves a bit here from a watery citrusy thing, very thin, to more of an, dare I say, a little more of an interesting scent profile. The petit grain still there, bergamot, of course, still there, and they're met with cardamom, and they're also met with ginger. And those two notes, right when that happens, it transforms this bergamot note to this really, and I don't want to say that it's thick now, but a light, airy, really citrusy, you know, watery thing to more of an Earl Grey portion. And I guess those notes kind of help that kind of tea imagery, because cardamom and of course ginger are utilized in tea as well. So they are, of course, both prominent notes in teas. So it really morphs this fragrance. Not that it's thick, I wouldn't say that. It's still refreshing, almost like an iced tea way of looking at it. The spices, again, the ginger and the cardamom, not too heavy, just enough to give this fragrance a little bit of personality and different, how can I say this, waves into the release. At this point, the sweetness of the scent, there's some sweetness up top. The sweetness of the scent kind of bogs down. The ginger and cardamom are just light touches here and there without really taking the spotlight off the bergamot, and that's what you really want. You know, when you're looking at perfumiers and the idea and the imagery of this fragrance, it'd be kind of weird having a thicker Earl Grey, you know, tea base in the mid of this fragrance. It just wouldn't work. The transition is absolutely flawless to really thin to still thin, but has some very interesting parts in this release while remaining to have the bergamot as the central piece. Outstanding. Now let's get to why I have Voyage d'Hermès in front of me here. An excellent scent, by the way, from Hermès. I don't know if they're discontinuing this release or they already have, but it's a fragrance that came out and had no real hype, especially in the YouTube fragrance community. Not really much people talked about it back in the day, but it was one of those releases that was just so Hermès. It was so well built, nothing fancy. It went against the grain of what was selling at the point, and which is so Hermès. It's one of those fragrances that I love wearing in an airplane, close quarters. Non-offensive, really good as far as projection and longevity. It just has really good longevity. It doesn't project too much, but you just smell clean. And I love that about it. Now, why this is here because of this is because in this mid, Bergamote Calabria really reminded me of Voyage EDT. There is a different version of this. This is the Eau de Toilette. They both share citrus, cardamom, green notes, tea-like qualities, woods, and musks. It really reminded me of it. It's uncanny how beautiful this section is in this fragrance, but also very versatile as a fragrance as far as a fragrance profile. Both of these really. Now, going a little off topic, if you do love this one, you went in this review just, I don't know, for me to co-sign, or you want to know what this fragrance is all about, and you haven't smelt this, definitely do, especially if you like this mid of this release. You will love this. Why? I think Voyage is better built, and that's not a poo-poo to the noses. This is a great fragrance review, by the way. This is a very positive fragrance review, but I feel like this is more of a signature scent worthy fragrance, and this is more of a seasonal fragrance. There's a big difference between this and this. This is a really one that I would spend the Hermes money, because I would wear it in the office, travel, all that good stuff. And if I didn't have what I had behind me, I would wear this all the time. It's dress it up, dress it down. Anyway, this is not a Voyage website, but it's a better constructed scent, less bright than Bergamote Calabria. Remember, this opening of this thing is very bright, uplifting. This one, and it has those factors, but not as much. It's more of a versatile fragrance than a bright one. Now, some sweetness does get reintroduced in this release after that tea spice thing, more than you get into the deeper dry down of this one. There's a simplistic vanilla that comes through. Don't expect anything big from the vanilla. It's very thin compared to a lot of vanilla backbones, and you do get white musk also. So the vanilla, the white musk are used just enough to underlay the bergamot here with a creamy backbone, and tries to prolong the citrus opening here that is very much dissipating at a rapid pace at this point. And there's a little woody facet here as well, but nothing strong enough to really darken the scent. It really does, I feel, is really unisex. I feel like some females that have smelt this almost feel like the back end, it goes unisex and then goes a little more male to them. I don't see it. I feel like it's completely unisex. Overall, a lightweight, easy to wear Aqua Liguria. The small price you pay here is mostly for the authenticity of the central note, and they really did hit a home run here. What you want to buy an Aqua Liguria for is that. What's in the name? I want lots of it, and I want it authentic as possible. They did. And they hit a home run with an authentic bergamot for a great price. It has some interesting pieces surrounding it, but really it's all about that bergamot. It really is, and it shows a couple facets of it. So it's really interesting. It's not just a simple freshie. They really did a good job with this Aqua Liguria. Really like this one. Let's get into seasons, day-night versatility, and of course performance, which is a big one for Aqua Ligurias. Seasons, summer and spring. That's what these things are built for. Again, you can wear them, of course, during the day if you're going in the office and stuff. It's refreshing. It'll do the job. Day or night, I feel like this is more of a daytime scent. I don't see this as a really interesting nighttime scent. I like my more interesting scents for the night. Versatility very high. There's no reason I can't. I'm picking this up and I want to wear a bergamot-based scent. I don't have to think about it and go, oh, maybe I shouldn't wear this for this event or this, or doesn't matter. Versatility's sky high with this. Performance. This is one of the issues with Aqua Ligurias. A lot of people will not refuse to buy them. For me, performance is not an end-all be-all. You can have all kinds of different scents that do different things. These Aqua Ligurias, I know what I'm expecting as far as performance goes. It's not a surprise. I'm not expecting beast mode in longevity and projection. This one, as far as longevity goes, not bad. 4 to 6 hours, any given wearing, which is good. And projection's below average, so you're not going to get much performance out of this, but I don't know. A lot of this is more to enjoy it yourself, I feel. These Aqua Ligurias, especially in the high heat, they perform better. Like I'm testing it more into the winter now. It kind of bogs down the whole fragrance, but I know I put quite a dent in this one. I know how it performs in the heat, and it reinvigorates itself the hotter you get as far as your skin goes. So not bad as far as performance. It's not terrible, 2-hour performance or less and no projection. It has some. So my final thoughts on Bergamote Calabria are pretty simple. It's one of the better Aqua Ligurias, and it's a line I'll continue to delve into simply because they're well made. It's a great way to sniff out really great summer notes and know what an authentic note is versus all the designer synthetic type of watered down smells that maybe you don't even know what a real bergamot kind of smells. This will show you a lot of those facets. Now, if you only got your nose on bergamots in the designer realm, I will guarantee you this will either be the best you smelt or at least in your top 5. I guarantee it. Now, if you're a niche head like me, then maybe it might drop down in that top 5, but for the price and for what you get, well worth the admission price. Just on that bergamot note alone, where it transforms itself to a simplistic, airy, watery, very sharp citrus, a very authentic citrus, to an Earl Grey bergamot, which is just, on that alone, it's worth the admission price. But once it gets into this cardamom ginger thing that reminds me of this in the mid, I'm almost in heaven. It's beautiful, gorgeous. The back end, kind of boring. It's just holding on for dear life, the bergamot, and they're just extending the life of it with a vanillic white musk type of thing going on. But I come to expect that from Aqua Ligurias. Very basic back end, because you want to emphasize the introduction. You start putting things in the back end, you start muffling the greatness in the introduction. So honestly, a great one from Guerlain. If you had to check out one of the Aqua Ligurias, I highly recommend this one. Now that I'm done with Bergamote Calabria, it's time for you to hit us up in the comments below. What do you think of it? Good or bad? Absolutely love seeing different sides of the coin. Looking forward to reading your comments. But at the end of the day, I think this is a solid one. And definitely, if you love this, especially that Earl Grey ginger cardamom thing, Voyage Hermès Eau de Toilette. Go check it out. So a great pour fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube.